All right. The first item, first of all, Dennis will be a little bit late, and Phil is on vacation this week. The first item is the property reval project status review to include a schedule for remaining items to be completed. Joanne, if you could, is there a mic down here? Okay. So it can be recorded in the system.
Oh, you got one. How's she going?
Okay.
All right. So on the schedule.
We need to talk. Is it on? Okay. Yeah. You need to bring it over close. It over toward. Yeah. There you go. Thank you.
All right. On the schedule, you will see that the update and final values have been put on. So we're right on target for February. Then in March, this is our next big event that happens. We have our full disclosure process, and then the full disclosure notices will be sent out in March.
So that means, pardon me, for a lay person who's never done this before, that means you send a notice to each property owner with what changes occurred on their property. I mean, the assessment.
Yes, it will. Our full disclosure notice is it shows your assessment as it was this year, 2011, and the taxes you paid, and the new assessment and the taxes using the 2011/12 budget. You know, the county account that just went through. What you would have paid if you were assessed at full market value.
Gotcha. So they can see what it means to them for their property.
You know, so people don't get excited and say, oh, my assessment went up 50%, I'm going to be paying 50% more taxes.
Right.
That won't, and that isn't true.
Okay.
And then we'll be scheduling. On the notice, I should have given you a copy of the letter. It states if you'd like to come in, take a look, discuss your assessment, and then we'll give them a time frame, 2 weeks to come in and do that. So that's the informal hearing.
So that's in your office where people can come in and talk with you or your representatives about their assessments?
What I plan on doing is sitting down with Priscilla and then setting up, you know, maybe 4 tables down here where people can come in. We'll give them a time frame to come in, and they can come in and, you know, talk to myself or Lisa, or hopefully,
to get some more goals.
You know, we need a couple of other people, obviously, in order to get through this.
Right. And the county is John McCary's said he would try to help you.
Well, yes.
Okay.
But it's again, if we have one, he'll give us one.
Okay.
I feel.
Okay.
But you just can't have anybody. I mean, you got to have somebody.
Or someone who understands it.
Definitely. You know, some more help. Where if you couldn't get it from the county, where are you going to get the help?
Well, I can ask Bob if he has some people.
Bob could help.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if he does, because they're, you know, obviously they do revals in other townships, and I know they're in the process of doing a few around, one in this county besides us.
Oh, I see.
And so I can ask him tomorrow when he calls whether they have anybody available.
Yeah, because he's also making that recommendation in his letter there,
right,
that we have some qualified reviewers hired to allow the hearing process to go on.
And then in April, we have the review. Any changes from that will be entered into the computer, and then the final value, maintenance, new construction, which I'm currently working on, and any data collection, errors, and of course, you know, our normal seniors, agricultural, so on, exemptions that we put in every year. And then May 1st is our final.
Now, when is grievance day?
May 22nd.
22nd.
So grievance actually starts May 1st when the tenant roll is produced.
Okay.
Through the 22nd. The grievance board meets on the 22nd.
Right.
And that's the only day that they meet.
Right. Okay.
So, also I attached a copy of the bill I sent to John McCary for the photos, and I did speak with him today, and he said that it is going before the county this week, whether it's today or tomorrow, whenever they meet, the county legislators, for the payment of the $6,658 that they owe us for the taking of the photos, per the agreement we had with them. $2. I also attached a certificate, which I think is important to tell you about Lisa Chaka. She's now a state certified candidate for assessor. She took her final exam back in November or December. She got 96. I thought that was important to let the board know.
Good.
Very good.
Okay.
And then one other thing that I think is important to tell you, I mean, obviously we'll go for payment after we finish the reval through the state, and of course the county also said they would match. So we should get about $10 a parcel back.
5 from each one.
Yes.
Let me ask you, I remember at that meeting, they said they would do it.
Yeah.
We tried to get to 20, but they wouldn't go for it.
And how many parcels altogether do we
About
have?
5,400.
5,400.
Right, but the state will not pay for special franchise, public service, or any exempt property, like churches and counties.
So we'll be something a little bit less than $50,000.
Correct.
Right. Okay. Money in the bank.
So, and the other thing I think it's important to tell you that, when we originally started this project, we were going to have, 2 extra people in my office, and the county was going to give us 2 extra people, and as you know, none of that ever happened.
Right.
We had John Schuler for a very short period of time from the county,
Right.
and we had Allie for a very short period of time, which she did catch us up with the filing and that type of thing. But, I have to commend Francine and Lisa. They've worked very, very hard to help me get through this project.
Yeah. And it's also with minimum overtime.
That's true.
I mean, there's no question. Now, we wanted to have it a year ago, but it's good that we did it the way we did. It's taken the 2 years to do it, and it's been a controlled thing. So, good for us.
Yeah.
Good for you. Good for the citizens of Goshen.
Definitely.
Yeah, good. Any questions for Joanne? Okay, so Mr. Hilbert's going to be here Thursday, correct?
No, actually, he's going to be here Tuesday because the grievance board would like to meet with him.
Oh, okay.
And they could not meet on Thursday, so he's going to be here next Tuesday at 10 a.m.
Right.
Between 10 and 10:30.
Okay.
So any of the board members want to come and have any questions to ask him,
Okay.
He will be there.
Now, what is his view on where we're at so far?
Well,
I mean, does he think we're about where we need to be at this point in time, the quality of work? Has he been critiquing anything?
Yes, he's been running a raise for me to look at anything that's out of line,
Right.
if it's over a certain percentage. And so far, I really haven't found anything that was horrific.
Okay.
Anything that's been at a very high percentage out of line was new construction. So it went from vacant land or partial assessment to a full assessment, that type of
Right.
thing. So now all of a sudden it jumps, by 11% instead of 2.5 or 3%.
Okay.
So, so far I think we're good. I've struggled for the last, all day today and Thursday trying to understand the state's formula on these Roll Section 6, which is the public service. And finally my brain clicked in today and I was...
You got it? Yeah.
I was able to get through it.
Good.
You say he's coming next Tuesday?
Next
Tuesday.
From what time to what time?
Well, he's coming around 10 o'clock, 10:30.
And he'll be here until when?
I don't know, probably.
And you said that the meeting Tuesday is with who? Who was he meeting with? Just
The
your staff?
Board of Review.
Oh, Board of Review.
Yes, they wanted to discuss the revaluation.
Right.
Because they'll be the next after
Sure.
that, they'll be the next group to it's important they understand everything that we've done.
This gives the Board of Review valuable information on how to make decisions, I assume.
Right. I mean, the other thing too that we did last year, the board of review used to have us pull, you know, if someone came in with comps, they had us pull all the comps along with the subject property, and last year I said, no, we're not doing this anymore, because that's what computers are about. And since we have photos, which is the big thing that they wanted to see, it's right there on the computer. So that worked out great last year, and it's certainly going to be very helpful this year.
It'd be interesting after we do this to find out what else we can do to computerize get rid of all the cards and everything else.
Well, we are in the process of doing that. David Levinas is doing all the data collection. Of course, he's very good at ACI, which is the program I use for drawings, and all the stuff that he's done is all in ACI. So he's producing the extra card with the drawing.
In the computer?
Yeah.
Along with the photo?
Right. Well, it's not in the computer. It's in the computer, but it's not in the county program yet.
Oh, okay.
But it will be. I just need to find out from the county how to...
But I can see a year or two from now that everything's going to be in the computer. You want a comparison of this, that, you just put it.
Yeah.
Buttons that you're going to get
Well...
versus pulling a lot of cards and doing a lot of manual.
Yes.
I understand.
Be sure meeting. We don't keep you point that.
Normally, I have to ask you a question, but normally if somebody wants to challenge their taxes assessment, they go out and get the information to, you know, like properties that sold for such and such. Now, would they be using our computer to get the information? Because it's all there.
Yeah. That's what it's all about.
I know.
It's open to the public. They can go on to IMA, which is the county website, and pull up any of the information they want on their neighbors, what the assessment is, what the square footage is of the house. So the only thing that's really lacking in that system is the drawing itself.
Right.
But everything is there.
I'd rather imagine within 5 years or 10 years, what we do today will be no longer
Absolutely.
germane anymore. There'll be, whether it be the grievance part or the scars or whatever it might be, someone in Albany or somewhere in the real property tax office is going to look at this and say, oh, okay, no, here's how it's going to work. At least I hope that's the way it is.
Well, the key is this is the start of a database.
Yeah.
You don't go forward without having the start of a database.
Right.
All right. I can say that much.
Yeah.
I'm really pleased with, how much we progressed this year.
Good.
Okay?
All right, Joanne, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And if anything comes from that meeting next Tuesday, if you can come back to us right away, if there's something that's gleaned from it that we don't know, we should know.
Okay.
Okay, great.
Get home safely.
Have a safe trip. Yep, thank you. Okay, several of the next items are information only. In your packet, we have information regarding 3 potential flood mitigation projects that we have submitted to the Orange County General Services for FEMA funding. You can see you can see a letter that I received on February 10th. It was from Orange County Legislature, District 21, Tom Pahookie. He is the co-chair of the Soil and Water Group, and he requested that we put in for a grant for the removing of trees and debris and whatnot north of the Pellets Island Bridge. And so what I put in was, if you look in your packet, the second one in, says Walkill River from Pellets Island Bridge to Route 17M. I had put in 2 parts. One is, if you look down here at the bottom, that we put in money to do a preliminary engineering study of the work that is being proposed. And then after that we put in for $75,000 to do the work if it's found not to be deleterious to the properties downstream. So that's that one.
What was that word mean?
Deleterious?
Yeah.
Bad.
Oh.
Okay. Now, since each municipality was allowed to put in 3, okay. The first one is the one that Broderick Knoll put in for, and it's the Otter Kill Tributary 12. And this is the one over Hamiltonian Park behind the Meadowbrook Lane. And he put in for $15,000 to remove debris and some silt and whatnot in that particular stream. And he put down that as the highest priority because it did impact 7 homes in that road, to include some flooding in 1 or 2. And each municipality allowed to put in 3. So that was the first priority. The one on the Wallkill River is number 2. Okay. And the third one is it's for the intersection of Cedar Swamp Road and McKnight Creek. There is a 2 8-foot diameter parallel corrugated pipes that need to be replaced. And Mr. Knoll, and it's $75,000. It says, if this work is not completed, continued flooding of our black dirt farming region will negatively impact the agriculture and family farms in its support. So that's but number 3. So those are the 3 that we put in. We learned on Thursday that we had to have these into the county planning department by the following Wednesday, which we did. So that's what these are. They've got them, and we'll see what comes from them. Okay. Also, as information, you'll see in your packet legislations in the New York State Assembly to allow municipalities to establish speed limits within their towns. Up to now, every time we want to have a speed increase or decrease, in the limit, we have to go to the county, their Department of Traffic, then it goes to Albany, they evaluate it, and then several months later they'll tell us that we didn't get our request. I don't know of any that we've received. So anyway, so this is a step forward. If this passes within the New York State Legislature, then we can determine our own speed limits, which would be a good thing. Also, as information, Standard & Poor's lowered the town's credit rating this past week from AA- to A+ due to low fund balances, and particularly in Fund A, which is the highway and the town hall. It had nothing to do with our procedures or our debt and all those other things, because we really don't have much debt, but strictly by how much money we have in the checking account. Also, as information, the town of Goshen has been selected for a federally funded community development block grant it's being administered by Orange County in the amount of $4,500 for fiscal year 2012 to support the Goshen Ecumenical Food Pantry Incorporated. Now, this is the only one we put in for this year. We put in for $5,000, but the Community Development Block Grant itself was reduced by 11%. And so, as a consequence, even though we got it, it's for $4,500 versus the $5,000. And it's kind of exciting. It's the first time we've done this, and we got it. We have worked with the village in the past and got money. And then, of course, last year we had the big one out of Jessup Switch Road, which we repaved. Okay, the next, there's one I don't have on here, and that is information only. And I think most of the board members know this, but we've had the auditors here this past week for the year-end audit. We've had this every year since I've been here. We pay them to come in, determine our fund balances, to check out our security systems and our protocols we follow in spending money and purchasing equipment, etc. They take that information. So it was a lot of work this past week giving them what they needed. They've taken it back to their offices. They'll now go through all of this, and they'll come up with findings, as they normally do. And so probably in a couple of months we'll know what the exact amount of money we have in each fund balance is at the conclusion of this past year, and then anything else that they would find it we need to do. Now, in addition to doing the town hall and all our businesses, they're doing the courts again as well. Okay, so, and they owe us for the police department. That should be any day now. Look at the results of that. Okay, the next one is, we have a letter from Rob Dickover, of Dickover, Donnelly, Donovan, and Biaggi. The Goshen Rotary Club is requesting approval to hold a 5K and 10K races on June 30th, 2012 as part of the Great American Weekend. The request also includes 2 police officers to be paid by the Rotary Club. And you can kind of just see what it is here. And I go to their last paragraph. It is anticipated that 2 additional police officers will be requested to assist in the traffic control. I understand the cost of these 2 additional officers will be paid by the Goshen Rotary Club per last year's agreement. So, would someone like to make a motion then regarding this request?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
I have no problem with approving of it. Have they ever considered the fire police here in the town of Goshen? And I know that I've seen one many times,
Yeah.
and never past that.
Phil went through all of this last
Oh,
year
okay.
with him. I mean, he went through, volunteers and road guards and this and that.
Oh, okay.
No, but I think you make a good point.
No, he does make a good point
We'll do it
because
again.
They'd love to do that.
he does.
Yes.
He does make a good point because a lot of times those fire police come to us, and I know that Howie Weiss and some other
Yeah,
ones have
sure.
asked us that we're available for stuff like this, and I just figured it'd be something that also saves the Rotary and other,
Sure, it's money in the bank.
Or 2 officers for 4 hours, right?
So,
Well, and it says, I understand, it says, it is anticipated that 2 additional police officers will be requested. Whether they do or not, I don't know. They may, because what I'm going to do is have Phil, Commissioner of Police, talk to him about this once we have the resolution passed, and to work through that details is the ball in their court.
Okay, that's all right.
Good. Yes, very good.
Howie's always says.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, the next item I have in here is the annual contract for the bus operator's contract with the County of Orange. Every year we get this, and it needs to be signed by me. And this is just a cover sheet you see from Deputy Commissioner of Transportation for the county. It goes to Michelle. Okay. Please review and sign, so and so on. Basically, nothing changes in it. So, would someone like to make a motion that you authorize the supervisor to sign this annual contract?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion?
yes,
Okay.
if you don't mind.
No, go ahead.
It's an annual contract. This is for Dial-A-Bus,
Dinobus.
and it's for the year 2012.
Yes.
What are we actually signing? I'm just, or shouldn't I?
It was quite long. I looked at that.
No, it's,
No,
no one's looked at it. I mean, I look at it each year, and it is what it always is. It's a lot of legalese about our responsibilities, reporting periods, things like that.
Okay.
It's not about dollars.
All right, no, because we had Rob in here, so that
Right, no.
particular day.
This just gives us, signs with us that we have the relationship with them to
With the county?
proceed on. Yes.
This is not, okay,
No, good question.
I think you know where I was going.
Sure.
I think you
Yeah.
might have seen that.
Right.
I was looking for you to make the motion.
Okay.
I heard you had read that.
Okay,
I looked at you. I looked at you.
all right. Did we have the motion on it? We did.
Yes.
Okay.
Kenny first, second.
Okay. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. All right. Does anybody else have anything before we go into executive session? Well, we do have a letter here from David Church that we came in today. Evidently, the New York State DEC Region 3 director was down and with the county, and they walked the Walk Hill River between the Pellets Island Bridge and 17M. And what they did, they found some debris along the top of that river. okay? And it's not much of a change from what it's been for a long, long time, where farmers throw, or farmers and/or business people throw stuff over the edge, okay? And this letter just says, basically, the town of Goshen should begin to enforce our code in that regard by, I guess, giving citations to these people. So, I talked to Neil about that, and he will do that, and we'll proceed on. Okay, if no one else has anything, would someone like to make a motion to go in executive session with the intent not to return, to talk about the CSEA negotiation status, the L3 litigation appellate review, tax certiorari status update, a notice of claim by Robin Placido versus the town of Goshen, Dial-A-Bus and Chester Dial-A-Bus, and a Maplewood stipulation versus the DEIS proposed by them in the last meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Yeah, feeling here, and without Dennis here, my goodness gracious, we can't do that.
Is Joel here?
No, there's a special,
Joel,
there's a special meeting to go to tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight, there's a special meeting tonight. Now, I was over Bill Shaw this afternoon, not going to, you know, it's being,
Is this because they didn't call last night?
I don't know.